Welcome to Charleston!
We made it to Charleston, South Carolina, the colorful oceanfront city filled with delicious seafood, stunning architecture, and plenty of hidden gems. Since it's springtime, the flowers are in full bloom, and it's already warm enough to enjoy a piña colada on a panoramic rooftop bar, so you know I'm happy. It's only our second trip ever to Charleston, and this time we're actually staying near Sullivan's Island, where things already got a little weird on our first trip to the beach. Okay. So yesterday I may have done some things I regretted and talked loudly and been ridiculous about this terrifying path to the beach in the pitch black darkness. Oh, we survived. This is single-handedly the most terrifying beach path. What? Nope. Oh my God, what is it? I hate this. I hate this. So we're gonna go check it out during the daytime and see just how ridiculous we were for being creeped out at night. I'm fully prepared for it to not be terrifying at all. So here goes nothing.
I will say that even though it's far less creepy, at least this building, this one, it's far less creepy in the daytime, it's still really creepy. So I don't feel that bad about it by being creeped out last night.
It starts here and then it goes all the way down. What? This building, which is nearly the size of a city block, is an abandoned battery building for storing artillery. It's also painted all black, making the walk at night alongside it terrifying, at least to me. Once you're past the building, you follow a fourth-of-mile trail on boardwalks, taking you through the woods and through the brush with signs warning of coyotes everywhere. That's why we were a little bit concerned. Okay, it was right here that we descended into utter darkness, which is actually beautiful during the day. Terrifying at night, though.
It really is a beautiful open beach. People are out walking, even biking, bringing out their dogs, hanging out. It's a beautiful spot to hang out. And yeah, definitely far less scary in the daytime. Let's go.
Well, now that we saw the trail in the daytime, we are headed into Charleston for the day to get some coffee, eat some food, and just enjoy walking around on a beautiful Sunday afternoon.
If you've watched our other videos, you know Dev is very serious about her coffee shop research, and luckily, Charleston has no shortage of incredible coffee shops. We started our trip at Harbinger for our morning caffeine and delicious pastries.
That cappuccino, delicious. Once we were fully caffeinated, we headed over to check out the Charleston City Market, a historic indoor and open-air market that contains stall after stall of artisan crafts, local Charleston foods, and plenty of souvenir options. We aren't really into shopping, but this market has been operating since 1807, and it's an institution of downtown Charleston, complete with all of that historic architecture. A cruise ship did dock while we were there, so the market quickly filled up with lots of people, which was our cue to go and find some lunch.
Came out to Lewis's Barbecue in Charleston to get a little bit of the famous South Carolina barbecue. This place is apparently known for its brisket, so that's what we're gonna get.
When searching for places to eat, barbecue kept coming up on every list, and those lists always included two places: Lewis's Barbecue and Rodney Scott's Barbecue. Since Lewis's was closer to us, we headed there for a tray full of brisket and pulled pork, and trust me, it did not disappoint. The sauces paid homage to the chef's Texas roots, but also included a Carolina mustard sauce and a green chili barbecue sauce, which was super unique and also one of the best things I've ever tasted. My telltale sign of a delicious meal is an intensely furrowed brow, so you know that I thought it was amazing. What's the verdict?
This is really good. Really good. There's tons of parks all around Charleston, so we came down to Brittlebank Park to go check it out. I think there's like a pier out here, which should be pretty fun to go and just kind of walk down and see some of the boats. I think there's snails on the reeds. Also, Devin definitely thinks that there's crocodiles just
are.
Or alligators, I should say.
Thank you.
She's asked if there are alligators. Pretty much everywhere we've gone. Which, to be fair, maybe there are. But we've only seen one so far.
This man is rude because there literally are alligators here.
I mean, there are alligators in South Carolina.
Here! There are alligators here! Unbelievable. It's nice. Beautiful day. It's just a perfect little spot to kind of steal away from the crowds and just enjoy a little boardwalk out on the waterfront. Lots of people fishing today. Just a nice peaceful little spot in the corner of Charleston. After a peaceful walk through Brittlebank Park, we decided to head up to the Citrus Club, a rooftop bar with incredible panoramic views and, of course, piña coladas.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. A little overfilling there, but there we go.
Hey, I'm not going to complain. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I lifted up my drink and my coaster went rolling over there on the ground. Did my drink coaster go missing? Yes, it did. Was the view worth it? Absolutely. We enjoyed our drinks inside while waiting for a table to open up on the rooftop, and trust me, that wait was worth it. With open views of all of the downtown buildings, historic churches, local islands, and waterways, it's pretty hard to beat this view of Charleston. While Phil was in line at Lewis's barbecue, he met a local who was actually from Northern Ireland originally, but then moved to Charleston. And he said that we should come and check out a rooftop bar because that was definitely part of the experience. And Phil found this one. Oh my gosh, honestly, the views are literally jaw-dropping. I'm not just saying that. It is really incredible.
All right, so we just had a drink at the rooftop bar right up there, had a great view of the whole city, so totally recommend. Now we're gonna go check out the historic section, including Rainbow Row, where we can see some of the history behind some of the architecture here in downtown Charleston, so let's go. It's one of the Beatles. There should be 4 of us walking across the street.
Might have heard of him.
Might have heard of him.
Rainbow Row is a collection of colorful homes that were built in the late 18th century, just one block over from the bay. We were surprised to learn that they were mostly in disrepair by the end of the 1800s and were not actually renovated until the 1950s. There are plenty of legends regarding the origin of the homes' brightly colored hues, including that they were used to help drunken sailors find their homes once they made it to port. Rainbow Row marks the start of Charleston's historic district, which we actually explored later in the week. Nothing like picturesque views and Family Guy on trombone. You should show one, get paid, and all that glitters is gold. I love live music, but as a recap, we've heard the Flintstones, Family Guy theme, All Star by Smash Mouth, and I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. So this guy knows no genre. He is not bound by genre, and I love that. Charleston is so broken up into different neighborhoods, so even if you aren't able to explore on foot for whatever reason, there are just all these little pockets where you can experience a whole bunch of stuff in close range. We're not super familiar with the public transportation here. It doesn't seem as robust as some other places we've been, like New Orleans where we were last, but there are lots of options that are in close proximity to one another if you want to explore a specific type of area like the beach or the city. The sun was setting, so we made our way back to Mount Pleasant, where we brainstormed options for our next coffee in the morning, or should I say cafecito. Yes, I'm pretty sure Phil chose this spot so that he could act like a giant next to his small cup of coffee. It was a delicious, quick breakfast, but I still had a coffee spot in mind that I wanted to check out, one that also did not disappoint. I found a lot of options for breakfast this morning, but of course Phil chose cafecito because he loves bread and coffee.
Yeah, a good Cuban place anywhere is gonna be great, so, and it was.
It is a windy day.
Yeah.
But then I wanted a peanut milk latte, so now we're headed to Babas because why not have both? What makes Babas special is that they make a homemade peanut milk to use in their lattes, which is something I honestly had seen in only a couple of places and had never tried before. It was absolutely delicious in a peanut mocha, so delicious in fact that we had it more than once on this trip. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. We got to sit at the bar and just watch them prepare everything. And the vibe inside was like very like mod chic, but then there's a little bit of scrappiness because they're working like just down a tiny little aisle. So it felt like you're in like a New York kitchen where they're trying to like do things in a small amount of space. So they had a whole pan of hot oil and put a bunch of rosemary in it. The smell like filled the place. So we're sitting there having our coffee and it's just fresh rosemary. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. We were definitely the right people to sit there because that is my idea of dinner and a show. After Babas, we headed to meet up with some friends for a birthday dinner and an improv show. But first, Phil's dreams came true right here in downtown Charleston. You're so cute. Hi. Your favorite thing. Aww. Is this your favorite?
So much. I'm just walking by this random fence, and there's just, we look down until we hear a sound, and it's a Frenchie just waiting to be pet. And so we did.
The Frenchie's name was Boogie, and his owner was out, and so he told us that he likes to steal pets from passerby, so he let us pet Boogie, and he was so cute. Definitely made Phil's dreams come true in Charleston.
Afterward, we headed to Non and Mount Pleasant for a delicious dinner and incredible service before heading over to Theater 99, where we caught an improv show several years ago. This theater is absolutely hilarious and is one of the highlights of visiting Charleston for us. The cast has fantastic chemistry, and as you can tell by this definitely live and not at all pre-recorded footage of us laughing, we had a great time.
It's so much fun to go to an improv show.
Especially here.
Especially here at Theater 99.
I love Theater 99. It is so fun. We've been to improv shows from other places, but this is still my favorite improv theater. We rounded out the night with some ice cream at the nearby off-track ice cream shop where I got a stout and Nutella brownie ice cream that was absolutely delicious. Then we turned in for the night before deciding where we were going to go to brunch the next day. Turns out the verdict was in, and it was at Grace and Grit where we got to try a whole flight of different types of grits and a flight of mimosas too. An excellent brunch if you're looking for somewhere to eat in the Charleston area. Then you'll never guess where we ended up next. Had to come back for round two. It was so good. After filling up on more peanut milk mochas at Baba's other, much larger location, we walked to two nearby historic cemeteries to see all of the flowers that were in bloom. Bethany Cemetery was much smaller, but it had a large collection of azalea bushes and peony bushes, so it was absolutely beautiful this time of year. And Magnolia Cemetery had a small lake complete with a beautiful walking bridge and an unexpected find, at least for one of the two of us.
Sometimes there are signs that say, don't feed the alligators or beware of alligators, but you can rarely see them. And so I was like, I don't know if there's actually alligators in this water. And then Devin immediately spotted one, so I stand corrected. It has to feel wild. I think it's shipping.
That was so funny. So we're just walking around the pond here, just enjoying it. It's so nice and serene. And all of a sudden this truck pulls up to us and says, "Are the peanut mochas sustaining you for your walk?" And it was the guy that made our peanut mochas at Babas. He was like, "Isn't it beautiful?" So it was just kind of fun that a local who just served us a delicious drink recognized us and was like, "Hey, glad I could keep you caffeinated for your walk." Walking around definitely worked up an appetite, so we headed over to the water at Fleet Landing where we had an absolutely incredible seafood dinner and then had an interesting surprise at the end of it. I just ate the most delicious meal and the fresh catch was so good, but look at this thing. It is the weirdest looking fish I've ever seen. Look at these teeth. Disgusting looking, but man, it was so good. So I would eat it every single day, even though it looks like it has human teeth.
Ew! Gross!
It's disgusting. A sheep's head fish. Who knew?
Do you ever have those moments where you stop for the view because it's so beautiful? That's what happened to us right after crossing the bridge into downtown Mount Pleasant. But couldn't stop for too long because another piña colada for Dev was waiting at Sullivan Seafood. I think her reaction speaks for itself.
My favorite thing ever. Oh man. Woo! That is good. Why? Phil definitely woke up with some energy, so we headed over to Folly Beach to the Lighthouse Preserve, where we could see the Morris Island Lighthouse off the coast and enjoy the small driftwood beach. So a few years ago, I came to Charleston with a few friends and I started walking this boardwalk. Totally thought it was fine. We're all good. Then I get halfway through it and I just freeze in fear because all of the wood is like deteriorating and I feel like I was really high up. And I've told the story to Phil several times and he's been like, how could you not walk this? But as soon as we got out here, Phil was like, oh, this is fine. But then he was walking on it and was like, okay. On second thought, I see why you were worried because it took him some time to get across it too. So I personally feel vindicated. After our walk on the beach, a storm blew in, so we thought it was a good time to duck into the Charleston Crab House to try a few low country staples. We ate a frogmore stew of shrimp, sausage, and potatoes that was absolutely delicious, and some she crab soup to warm us up before heading back to Charleston to explore the historic district on our final night in town. We were noticing that there almost was like a facade on some of the brick buildings, and we just assumed that they put a facade up to make it look, I guess, nicer or whatever, some sort of status thing. But apparently they were covered in stucco after an earthquake in 1886. So I guess there was some damage and they needed to cover it. And so that is why. That was news to us. We had no idea.
One of the best things about Charleston for...
Look at that door knocker. That is so cool. It's a lion and it really looks like it would pack a punch. I want one of those. Phil, how do you feel about getting a lion door knocker at home? This is now the second time Phil has tried to talk that I have not realized that and have started talking immediately. So my apologies.
To be fair, what I wanted to say is that the best part of Charleston, for me at least, is getting to walk around and see all the architecture. So it's probably fitting that Devin interrupted me to point out the architecture because, yeah, it's...
That is true. That is true. Look, I was doing you a favor.
Yeah, it really is beautiful here, though. And whenever you pass a lion door knocker, I mean, you have to
say
look.
something. I mean, like, those are nice knockers.
Marking up on this house. Can you imagine living in this house and then some neighbor buys the property next to you and literally builds her house like a foot outside of your window? What a jerk. That's so funny. That would be such a jerk move. I personally just love Charleston for the architecture, but I think for me, one of the things that keeps coming up as I look at it is the history of this place was really built on the backs of a lot of people who maybe never intended to be here. The way that some of the buildings are built, I think is really beautiful. It kind of reminds me of some of the brownstones in New York, where like there's big staircases going up to the first floor. But I'm reminded that the bottom floor was for people who were not meant to be seen. And I think part of this area really needs to tell that story of the people who weren't always seen in this space. There were definitely a lot of enslaved people, and you can tell by the way the city was built that there were a lot of enslaved people. And in the historical part of Charleston, there's not a lot of evidence of where those people lived and how they interacted.
Learning the history of a place, even when it's complicated, tragic, and uncomfortable, is really important to us as travelers and as people. The Equal Justice Initiative provides an account of the history of the transatlantic slave trade in Charleston that we've linked in the description of this video so that you can take some time to learn this history with us. Thanks for spending the week in Charleston, South Carolina with us. We've had the best trip, just spending time on the coast, eating, of course, lots of delicious food. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to see where we're headed next, including a food tour of Charleston that's coming super soon. That was my bad. I thought it was a different one. It was not that one.
Okay. Oh, it smells so bad. Ew, never mind.